Thank you, sir. All of you switch on your videos. Still many are in hiding mode. Switch on your videos. Okay, yesterday we have discussed about what is a function, what is the need for a function, then how to write a function, what are the 4 ways of writing a function. Today we are going to discuss about how to identify the local and global variables in a function and how to make use of local and global variables. So you have to remember variables are of 2 types. One is called local variable, one is called global variable. So a particular program in any programming language may contain a number of functions because we are using modular approach. So a program can have a number of functions. So if any variable is declared outside the functions, outside of any functions, then those variables are called global variables. If a variable is declared inside a function, then it is called a local variable. Now, what is the difference of a local variable and global variable? Now, the global variable, there is something called scope and lifetime of a local and global variable. Scope and lifetime. Now, what is the scope? For example, you are a member of your family. Okay, what is your scope? Your scope is limited to your family. That is called your scope. Okay, suppose you are a social worker. Okay, then what is your scope? Your scope is related to society to which you belong. Hope it is understood what is called scope. Okay, now lifetime. What is lifetime? If your lifetime will expire when you are outside your home. If you are a local variable, if you are a local member of your family, your scope and lifetime is limited to your family only, right? If you are a global variable, then your scope and lifetime is global to the society. Hope it is clear. Similarly, if a variable is declared outside the function, then its lifetime is throughout the program. So till the program is in active state, the global variable you can use again and again, anywhere throughout the program. But a local variable scope and lifetime is limited within that function only in which it is defined. Once you are coming out of the function, nobody will recognize what is a local variable. If you try to access the local variable, you will get error. So what I am saying is understood? Is it understood? How many types of variables are there? How many types of variables are there?
2 types.
2 types. One is called local variable, one is called global variables. Global variables are defined outside the functions and its lifetime is throughout the program. Local variables are defined inside the function and its lifetime and scope is limited to that function. Okay. Now, so let us write a program to understand the difference between local and global variables. Okay. Suppose I have declared a variable n1 is equal to 10. Okay. Now, is it a local variable or global variable? Have I declared this variable inside any function?
Global variable.
So,
Global variable.
this is called a global variable. Okay. Now, if I want to print this global variable, I can access throughout my program. So 10 will be printed. Now, let us define a function. Definition. A function I am defining. Okay, some name function I have given. And into this, I am passing a variable n2. Now, can you tell me this n2 is a local variable or global variable?
Local.
This
Local variable.
n2 is a local variable to the function There may be multiple function to the function, to this particular function. That means this variable n2 I can use anywhere inside the function only, but outside the function, no one will recognize what is n2. Hope it is clear. Okay. Now, so let us print the value of inside function. Okay. So this is a local variable. Please note it down these programs. Again, time waste cheyakunda note cheskondi. Inside the function, this local variable, I can print the value of n2. Right? After that, I have declared another variable n3. Is it a local or a global variable?
Local.
I have declared this variable inside the function. So it is again a local variable. Clear? So you can do any operation with the local variables inside the function only. Okay. Similarly, I'm just printing here. So inside function, this variable is also a local variable. N3. Okay. My function is over. I am not returning anything. Just I have written a function. Now I am outside the function. Okay. Now, how will I execute this function? So this is my function definition I wrote, right? This is called what? Function definition. I have defined a function where I am doing some printing task, where n2 is a local variable. So any argument which is passed to a function is called a local variable. So n2 is a local variable and n3 is defined inside the function. So n3 is also a local variable. So this is called function definition. Now how this function will work? So you have to call this function to execute. Next we will go for function calling. Now I'm calling the function. So name of the function func, and I have to pass a value. Suppose I'm passing 20. So this 20 will be stored into the variable n2. Yes or no? So this 20 is called what type of argument? This is called my actual argument. Where n2 is called what type of argument? This is called, yesterday I told you 2 hours class regarding only basics of function. So whenever you pass a value, either I can store into a variable and pass, directly I am passing the value. So this 20 value is called the actual argument or actual parameter, where it is receiving. So this 20 value is passed to the variable n2. This n2 is called the formal argument. Yes or no? Respond. So this is called function calling. That means this function will be executed. Yes. Now I want to print the value of n1. Is it possible or not? I am now outside function. I am now outside the function. Can I access the variable n1? Yes or no?
Yes,
Can I access the variable n1? N1 is a global variable. So it can be, its scope is and lifetime is throughout the function, throughout the program. So anywhere in the program, you can access n1. Okay. So, but if I'll try to access the variable n2 or n3, will I get any error? What? No response at all. N2 is a local variable or n3 I am trying to access. I should get any error or not? Respond.
Yes, ma'am.
So let us run this program. Can you see here? First global variable 10 I am printing over here. Okay, 10 is printed. Right. Now n2 is a local variable I told. So its value also I am printing. So what is the value of n2? 20 I am passing, that is printed. n3 I have declared as 30. So its value also I am printing. So 30 is printed. Outside the function, I am printing the value of n1. n1 can be accessed anywhere, inside the function or outside the function, because its scope is global. Throughout the program, you can access anywhere global variables. So, okay, outside the function also, you are accessing anywhere. So 10 is printed. But if you will try to access n2 or n3, you are getting error. What is the type of error you are getting? Name error, because Outside the function, nobody will recognize what is N2 and N3. Only N2 and N3 will be recognized inside the function. So that's why the name N3 is not recognized by the program. Is this understood? The name N3 is not recognized. That's why you're getting name error. Please note down this program. This is a simple program to understand the difference between what is a local variable, what is a global variable. And if you will try to access a local variable outside the function, you are going to get error. And what is the type of error? That is called a name error. Is this thing understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Instead of this, you try to access N2 also, you will get the same error only. N2 is not defined because N2 and N3 are both local variables. Completed writing? So in exam, you may get to explain the difference between local and global variables. In any programming language, the concept is same. Difference between local and global variables. Okay, along with this, you write down the definition of local and global variable also. Make it fast. Vikas, Harsavardhan, Yaswan Chaudhary, make it fast. Switch on your videos. Srujan Kumar, Srija, Shashank Reddy, Hemant Reddy. Satvik, Suchet, Samim, Parthasarathi. These candidates are not there. Completed writing the definition of local and global variable. Right. So this program is over, right? Right. Next we'll go for, if you want to declare a global variable, there is a global keyword available in Python. Okay. So if you want to define a variable inside a function as global, please remember where to use the global statement. So if you want to define a variable inside a function as global, so you must use the global statement. See, in this program, I have declared N1 outside. So whenever a variable is declared outside the function, by default, it is global. You need not worry. Whenever you want to declare this N1 inside the function, but you mean that it should treat it as a global variable, then use the keyword global and then declare. Understood? Write down using global statement. When you should use global statement to define a variable inside a function as global, you must use the global statement. So this global is a keyword in Python language. Clear? Now we'll write down a program to understand how to make use of this global keyword or global statement. Suppose there is a variable V is good. Okay. Now, is it a local variable or global variable? Tell me.
Global variable, ma'am.
Global variable. Very good. Whenever it is declared outside, by default, it is a global variable. Right. Now, I am defining a method. Suppose show is a method. It takes no arguments. Okay. Now I want to declare another global variable. So I should use the keyword global. Okay. And I'm declaring another variable v1. Now this v1, I want to assign some value. Suppose v1 is morning, right? Now I want to print the value. So I'm inside function now. Okay. Inside my function, the variable I want to print. Which variable I want to print? I want to print the variable v. Can you access or not? Tell me. Can you access the variable v inside the function or not? So write down.
Yes,
V is a global variable. Global variables can be accessed anywhere, right? Whether it is inside function or outside function, global variables can be accessed throughout the program. Okay. So if you want to print another global variable, which is your v1, that also you can access, right? But declaration of the global variable inside the method needs a global keyword or global statement. Now, this is my function definition is over. Now I'm outside the function. So outside the function, to run my program, I should call it. So I should do function calling. What is the name of the function? Is show. Okay. So I should call it simply. Okay. Now the control will jump to that function and it will execute that function whenever you call it. Now, similarly, if you try to access the global variable outside function, if you want to access v or v1, both can be accessed without any error. Yes? Clear? Now, let us run this and check. Can you see here? V is a global variable. V1 is also a global variable. So, its values you can access inside the function or outside the function. This is a simple program. Completed writing, understood the difference between how to declare a global variable using global keyword. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next concept that we'll go for, that we can write or we can have a variable name, the local variable name and global variable name can be same also. So this is called name class. Okay. That means if you will write the local variable name and global variable name as same, then which variable will get preference where? Understood what I want to say? Suppose now global variable name, local variable name, rendu same channel. Okay. You know that in Python, you can give, or in any programming language, you can give the local variable name, global variable name, same also. But which variable will get priority where? That you need to understand. Okay. Let me go for the similar example here. Let me copy this program and make changes. So I want to demonstrate here the name class of local and global variable. Okay. Now here v is a variable which is a global variable, and let me remove this, and I want to take the same v. Now here the v is a local variable. Is this thing clear? Here outside this v is a global variable. Inside the method the same v, variable name is same. It is a global variable, sorry, local variable. Now, whenever you are printing the value of v, then whether morning will be printed or good will be printed. And similarly, whenever I'm printing outside the value of V, whether good will be printed or morning will be printed. Can anybody tell? This is called name class. There is a name class. Okay. Now inside the function, which value will be given priority? Local variable will be given priority or global variable will be given priority? Can you tell anyone?
Local.
Inside the function, local variable will have more priority. So, local variables get priority inside a function. Okay, but outside the function, local variables you cannot access, right? Outside the function, write down, outside the function, the scope and lifetime of local variables expires, means it is dead. Nobody will recognize what is local variable outside the function. So outside the function only this V is a global variable. Hope it is clear. Now let me run this. See, inside the function, the local variable has got priority. So morning is printed. But outside the function, nobody will recognize the local variable. Only global variables will get priority. So good is only printed, though the variable names are same. Hope it is clear. This is common for any programming language. Note down. Is this concept understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, in programming languages, though the variables are of two types, but mostly local variables are given preference over the global variables, and there is a chance of modifying the global variables also. So to avoid the confusions, mostly local variables are preferred over the global variables. Okay. As a programmer, you should always give priority to the local variables over global variables. Okay, completed this?
No, ma'am.
What, Vinay? You are roaming here and there, or camera is moving here and there? Be stable and right.
Camera is moving.
Why? Camera is roaming. Be stable. Manisi stable ga unte, anni stable ga unte. Saujanya, Srinath, Hemadri, switch on your videos. Vaishnavi, Shana, Suman Chaudhary. Okay, completed this program. Shall I go for next concept? Okay.
Yes,
Next
ma'am.
concept is whether you can modify a global variable or not. So yes, the answer is yes, we can modify a global variable. Okay. Now let us, I'll copy this program. Concept is whether you can modify a global variable or not. Suppose V is a global variable. Okay. Now using this global keyword, let me declare another global variable, also V, same name. Okay. Now I am changing the global variable to morning. See here, V is a global variable. Okay. Inside the function, I am declaring another global variable whose name is also V. And I am modifying that global variable with a different name. Okay, now the contents are different. So here the global variable is modified. Global variable is modified, right? Now, if you will print the value of V, whether good will be printed or morning will be printed. That is the question. Okay. Now, after calling the function, again, the value of V, I will change again. Some fantastic I have given. Now, outside the function, if I'll print the value of the global variable, whether morning will be printed or good will be printed or fantastic will be printed, what will be printed? You have to analyze. That means global variables can be modified. Right? Okay. Before modifying, let me print value. And after modifying, I'm again printing the value P. Is this thing clear? Okay. Here also, before declaring, let me print here once. Tell me, what will happen to this program? Tell me. First time I am going to print the value of V, whether I will get good or not. What I am going to
You'll
get?
get good.
Good, ma'am.
Okay. After
Good.
that, I have modified to morning.
Morning.
Here I am
Morning.
going to get
Yes, morning.
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 Right. Okay. Now outside the function, here,
Morning.
what I am going to get? Morning or good?
Good.
Good.
Good or morning?
Good, ma'am.
Morning.
Good.
One you have to tell. So I am going to get again morning, the latest value of the global variable.
Yes,
Latest
ma'am.
value of the global variable is morning at the right. After that, it is modified to fantastic. So here I am at the last print statement. I am going to get fantastic.
Fantastic.
Clear? So that's why in programming, global variables can be modified. So to avoid confusion, mostly as a programmer, you should work or give importance to local variables than global variables. That is the reason. What you are getting? So global V, it is not taking, it should take. Okay, let me try once in idle also, because some interpreter to interpreter it may change. 1 second. It works actually. Let me show you. Okay, in this version it is not taking. Redeclaration is not taking. Okay, let us not do redeclaration. Can you see my screen or I need to share it again?
You can see.
Okay, so redeclaration I have removed here because redeclaration in this version it is showing error. So let me remove and run it. Unbound local error. Global variable is modified. Oh. But in earlier versions it was working. In this version they have removed this concept. Local variable V is referenced before assignment. Okay, now it is treating this as, sorry. Now this is treating this as local variable, right? Okay, anyway. Let me change the name. Yes, same name. In this version, it is not working. Earlier, it was working. Okay. So in this version, same declaration, because this is also a global variable, and again using global keyword, I am declaring the same variable. So twice declaration in this version, there it is not taking. So anyway, V1 is modified to morning. So inside V1 will be given priority. So yes, good and morning. And outside, if I'm changing again. Okay, I'll change this to V1. Yes. So this global variable is first your morning only. Let us modify it anyway. And after modifying it again, it becomes fantastic. Okay. So write down this program. That means at least modification of global variable is possible to understand this concept. Okay, completed this? Okay. Next concept is the demonstration of access of variables in inner and outer functions. How to access the variables in inner and outer functions. Okay. So let us write down function within function concept. Suppose I am declaring a function. This is my outer function, and I will write an inner function inside this. And let me take a outer variable also. And inside this outer variable value is 10. Inside this, I will write one inner function. Okay. Inside a outer function, there is a inner function available, and there is a inner variable whose value is suppose 20. Okay. Now, if I will write the print statements to print the value of outer variable and inner variable, you have to understand which is local, which variable is local to what. Go on writing inner variable. I'm printing. Right. So I'm printing the value of inner variable and outer variable. Now, to run this function, I have to call it, right? So now I am outside the inner function. Can you see my cursor? Now I am outside the inner function. So I'll call the inner function so that it can run. So this is called inner function calling. Right? Now I am outside the inner function. Okay. Now let me write these two print statements here also. Where these print statements are written? Where these print statements are written? These two print statements are now outside the inner function. You are outside the inner function, but inside the outer function. Okay. What is the location here? You are outside the inner function, but inside the outer function. You have to understand, right? Okay, now I'll come out of the outer function also, and I will call the outer function so that it will run. Okay, outer and yes, this is called function calling. Outer function calling. Right? Now, what will be the output? Whether I will get any errors or not, you have to first justify and tell me. Now, tell me in this first print statement, whether the outer variable 10 can be accessed or not.
Can be accessed.
These two
Can
print
be accessed,
statements
ma'am.
are inside the inner function. For this inner function, this is a local variable. This is a local variable. For what? For inner function. For this function, this is a local variable. For outer function, this is a local variable. But this outer V is a global variable for the inner function. Yes or no? ఈ inner function బయట రాశారు కదా మీరు. So 10 can be accessed or not? Say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
So 10
ma'am.
will be printed over here. And inner V value can be printed or not? Yes, because it is a local
Yes,
variable. So 20 will be printed. Yes. Now coming to the outer print statements. For this print statement, outer V is a what type of variable here? Local or global?
Local.
Local.
Local to outer function. Local to outer function. Yes or no? Local to outer function this is. So it can be accessed or not?
It can be accessed.
Yes, very good. So it can be accessed, so 10 will be printed. Coming to this statement, 20, can I access outside it?
No.
No,
No, ma'am.
it is not accessible. Because inner variable is accessible only inside the inner function, not inside the outer function. It is not accessible. So I must get error. What type of error I should get? What type of error?
Name error. Name error.
Name error. Very good. I should expect that. Yes. So outer variable 10, 20 is printed. Outside 10 is printed, but inner V is not accessible. So I'm getting inner V is not defined as a name error. Hope it is clear. Have you written this program? Please write it down.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Make it fast. Last program we'll discuss. So these are the small concepts you have to do programming and try to understand. This is called understanding the scope and lifetime of the variables for local and global variables. Hemadri, you are not there today. I can't see you. Maruti Reddy, are you there? Sujit Kumar, Janavi, Vinutna. Right. Last program, let us go for. Last program is to discuss, demonstrate the name class of variables in case of nested function. In case of nested function, there may be also name class, okay, like the inner and outer concept I told. So let us write down one outer function. Right, simultaneously, students. I have written a outer function and I have declared a variable 10. So this variable V is a local variable to outer function. Right? Right. Now let us define one inner function. And inside this also declare another variable V, which is a local variable to inner function. Yes or no? right? But there is a name class. Both the variables are having same name, right? Now, inside this, I'm printing. If I'll print, which variable will be given priority? Tell me.
Local variable.
Local variable means 20 will be printed or 10 will be printed?
20.
20.
20, very good. 20 will be printed. Now call the function, inner underscore function. This is called function calling. Right? Now I am outside inner function. Now I will write a print statement. I'll print the value of v again. What value will be printed? 20 or 10? Now I am outside inner function, but inside outer function. Local variables are given preference.
10.
10 will be printed. Yes. Local variable to outer function will be given preference. Now you cannot access 20. You are outside inner function. Yes or no? After telling so many examples. Now I'll just call outer function for running my program. Okay. So in this print statement, 20 will be given preference. Inner variables will be given preference if the names are same. Then you are outside, so 10 will be given preference. Okay, run it and see. Inner, outer. Something is wrong, right?
Ma'am, in defend, you give FUN, ma'am. You didn't give C.
Oh, yes, that is FUN. Okay, I'll make it FUNC. That's why the previous output is coming, right? Yes. Okay, inner variable is 20, here outer variable is 10. Hope it is clear? No doubt. So with this today we have completed the concept of inner local and global variables. Let me take the attendance. నేను ఫస్ట్ నోట్ చేసుకుంటాను ఎవరెవరు వీడియో ఆఫ్ చేశారు అంటే ఇప్పుడు టకటక ఆన్ చేస్తారు అటెండెన్స్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు respond to your roll calls. D1 first.
Present, ma'am.
D2.
Present, ma'am.
D3.
Present, ma'am.
D4.
Present, ma'am.
D5.
Present, ma'am.
D6.
Present, ma'am.
D7.
Present, ma'am.
D8.
Present, ma'am.
D9.
Present, ma'am.
D0.
Present, ma'am.
D2.
Present, ma'am.
D3.
Ma'am, E1.
E3. E1 present. E3. E3 absent. E4.
Present, ma'am.
E5.
Present, ma'am.
E6.
Present, ma'am.
E7.
Present, ma'am.
E8.
Present, ma'am.
E9.
Present, ma'am.
F0.
Present, ma'am.
F1.
Present, ma'am.
F2.
Present, ma'am.
F3.
Present, ma'am.
F4.
Present, ma'am.
F5.
Present, ma'am.
F6.
Present, ma'am.
F7. F7 absent. F8. Fast. Madam is waiting. F8. F8 absent. F9.
Present, ma'am.
G0. G1.
Present, ma'am.
G2.
Present, ma'am.
G3.
Present, ma'am.
G4.
Present, ma'am.
G5.
Present, ma'am.
G6.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. G6.
Present, ma'am. Present.
G7.
Present, ma'am.
G8.
Present, ma'am.
G9.
Present, ma'am.
Not. H not absent. H1.
It's not present, ma'am.
Okay. H1.
Present, ma'am.
H2.
Present, ma'am.
Three.
Present, ma'am.